Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. I have this LED bulb. The person who gave it to me said that sometimes it flickers, other times he turns it on, it works for a while, and then it turns off. I tested it myself, and in my test, it just momentarily flickered on and then off. Anyway, so I took it apart, and it was quite involved, but let me explain. So this cover part came out fairly easily. And then the LED part also was easy to remove as it was screwed down onto this heatsink by 3 screws. So I removed the 3 screws and then removed the LEDs. But removing this heatsink part from the main bulb was a complete nightmare. And I actually gave up on repairing this. Then I decided, okay, well, since you're not repairing it, might as well use excessive and unreasonable force to get it open to confirm what I believed was the problem. And what I thought the problem was is this: after I removed the set of LEDs from the heatsink, I noticed that there are 2 pins here. These 2 pins here were loose, like I could just wiggle it and they would wiggle. I'll show you under the microscope in a moment. So I figured that maybe they had come loose from the motherboard, and I wanted to confirm that. Anyway, so eventually using unreasonable force, I got it open, but I had to break here apart, and as you can see, this part got bent out of shape, but I was able to get it open. And during that time of using the unreasonable force, I knocked off uh, a capacitor from the board, which belongs right there. And I'll show you under the microscope again. Okay, let's go under the microscope and let's see what's going on. So these are the 2 pins that I mentioned previously here. And these 2 pins go through the heatsink and then inside the set of LEDs to basically deliver the power. Anyway, so I'll show you the other side in a moment. And here is where the capacitor belongs, the one that I inadvertently removed when I was using excessive force to open it. Okay, let's take a look at the other side. So this is the other side. Add a bit more light. I'm going to zoom down so you can see the cracks a bit more clearly. Here we go. So that should be fairly clear. I'm going to wiggle the pins so you can see, and you need to look right here on these 2 solder points. Yeah, you see how they are moving? So this obviously is a cracked solder joint, 2 cracked solder joints. And I will need to put my soldering iron and resolder these 2 points. I'll probably add a bit extra solder also. And then here, to the right of that, right there, that's where the capacitor legs need to come out of. There's a plus and a minus. And let me switch back to the other side to show you that it is actually clear where the plus is and where the minus is. So this side, where you have all these lines, the shaded side, this is the minus of the capacitor. And this here is the plus. And to confirm that 100%, I actually traced the plus side, and I confirmed that it is indeed the plus of the capacitor. Okay, I'm going to try to do all this work under the microscope so that you have a good view of what I'm doing. This will not be easy, as one of my hands has to be holding the bulb while I solder while I do all the soldering. Anyway, let's see how well this goes. Alright, so I'm going to add a bit of flux. And then come in with my soldering iron. And then put a bit of solder on the tip. And let's see what we can do. On the turning other side. The left side, you can do this side now. And the turn it more flat. Is it focus? Okay. Alright. I'm going to do a bit of a cleanup now. Alright, I think it's fair to say that this is well soldered now. And I'm wiggling I'm trying to wiggle the pins and it's actually not moving. So now the next step, I'm gonna put the capacitor back in here and then solder it. Let's do that. So these are the two pins of the capacitor. Let me at least get one of them secured with the flux. I think I found the next secured. That's that side, not the other side. Quick clean. Yeah, pretty solid. Let me see if there's any other cracked joints anywhere. Since we're in here, might as well. Okay, so all the rest looks okay. And just double check the two original pins that we did. Alright, I think we're in good shape. Alright, I'm going to speed through the reassembly because that's not really very interesting and might take a long time to do. And then I'll come back when it's time to we'll slow down the video when it's time to test it. And we're back for the final test. I put it in a lamp holder, the E27 socket, and I'm going to plug it in now. Let's see if it works. There we go. Success. One last thing I want to mention is the heatsink basically takes all the heat and puts it in the back where all the electronics are. So what I've done is I drilled a couple of holes. You can see one of them there and another one here. And I might drill another one, like one here and one on the other side, and potentially make them a little bit bigger. I'm thinking that all that heat inside basically caused the solder to crack, and I'm pretty sure it's not good for all the electronics there. So by making these holes, maybe some of the heat will be released from inside. Anyway, this was a fun thing to repair, and not for the value of the bulb. This is like a $4 bulb, but I enjoyed this repair, and I hope you enjoyed this video, and see you on the next one. Bye bye.